All right, good morning, everyone. We are really excited to be here today to present to you our real-life business case analysis on Wolfe Springs Golf and Waterfront Resort. My name is Catherine, and these are my teammates, Allison, Michael, Himani, and Michelle. On the agenda for today, I'll go over a brief company overview. Then Michelle will talk about fractional ownership. Allison and Himani will go over the key success factors that we have identified. And Michael will go over our strategic recommendations for Wolfe Springs going forward. And then I will conclude the presentation. So Wolfe Springs is a relatively new initiative under the parent company Claremont, which is a privately owned real estate firm operated right out of Kingston, Ontario. And its main business functions, Claremont being the parent company, is real estate development, construction, investment, and consulting. Now, you can't really see the pictures, but it's actually quite beautiful. It's based in Westport, Ontario. And essentially what it has is 11 two-bedroom luxury villas. And these are comprised basically of 10 shares per villa. And each share that you purchase will gain you 5 weeks access to Wolfe Springs Golf and Waterfront Resort. So hopefully you'll get a copy of the presentation later so you can see how beautiful it is. And they have three primary target markets. The first being young professionals with families, the second young professionals without families, and the third being adults over the age of 55. Now, when you think about this, you might think, well, that's a lot of people. But what's important to note is that they're primarily affluent people from Eastern Ontario who have a common need for a luxurious but hassle-free getaway. I'll now pass it on to Michelle, who will talk about fractional ownership.
Thank you. So what exactly is fractional ownership? Essentially, it's the shared ownership of a property. It's often confused with a timeshare, when in fact the two are completely different. The key difference being that with fractional ownership, you actually own the underlying asset. So after a share is purchased, a management company runs and operates the property, and each fractional owner contributes to an annual maintenance fund. Fractional ownership has seen exponential growth in North America over the past 3 years, which is expected to continue. So let's take a look at the advantages and disadvantages of fractional ownership. Some advantages include the maximum usage of the property. Fractional ownerships are used year-round, and if you don't wish to use a week, then you can rent it out to somebody, which means that you're only paying for the time that you use, unlike many family cottages, which go unused for over 300 days a year. Also, the ownership can be transferred or sold, so you can pass it down to a family member, or if you like, you can sell it. This essentially makes fractional ownership a capital investment opportunity, just like investing in any other property. Furthermore, it's a carefree vacation where all of the work is done for you, from maintenance to taking the garbage out to taking docks out at the end of the summer. Some disadvantages include privacy. If you're looking for a secluded cottage, then this isn't exactly for you. Also, it's a new concept, so some people may be wary of the idea, still not understanding what exactly it means. Another disadvantage includes the Christmas vacation effect, where during the off-season, the people owning the cottage are all going to want the same weeks, like Christmas, Easter, and Thanksgiving. You're also locked into planned vacation periods, so you can't spontaneously go up to your fractional ownership on a weekend. And finally, wealthy people tend not to like to share, as they take pride in fully owning the asset. And finally, we'll take a look at the financial benefits for customers. First, there's a low initial investment. It's less than a down payment on a mortgage, and while the cost is more than you would pay for a timeshare is a sunk cost that you never get back. You have no mortgage payments. There are similar maintenance fees across the three. And finally, there's resale value. So fractional ownership is like a cottage. It's a lifetime investment, and you can benefit from capital appreciation. So I'll now pass it on to Himani.
So this morning I'm going to take you through some of the success factors of Wolfe Springs. The first is the location. It's located in a charming town called Westport, which is centrally located on the pristine and spring-fed lake of Wolfe Lake. Thank you. It's also of an uncompromised quality, as each unit is furnished with hardwood floors, wireless internet, gourmet kitchens, etc. You name it, it's there. It's developed with luxury and comfort in mind, and it's evident throughout the villa. There's also an owners association, which is comprised of all the various owners who own the land, the villas, and everything else on the property, and it offers them control and power over all the important property management decisions. There's also ownership without the burden of maintenance, because there's a housekeeping and maintenance crew on site, so owners don't have to worry about winterization or dock repairs or anything of that nature that comes with cottage life. And Allison's going to take us through the rest of the things.
Thanks, Manny. So another thing that's contributed to Wolfe Springs' success is the limit on expansion that the Claremont teams imposed. So basically, they've limited to a maximum of 15 units, and this limit's been a crucial appeal to future owners because it basically guarantees that the properties won't suffer from overcrowding, but also in terms of the investment, it puts the properties in a better position to gain from appreciation just based on the limited supply. So also, to add a bit to what Michelle was talking about fractional ownership, the Claremont team's really done a very good job of emphasizing the cost effectiveness of fractional ownership, not just in terms of the sunk cost, but also in terms of the opportunity cost involved. So for example, because of the lower capital of being a Wolfe Springs owner, there's much lower opportunity cost to having as opposed to the amount of equity you have to have tied up in a cottage. So, but in our opinion, the two things that are at the foundation of the project's success is the forward thinking and approachability of the Claremont management team. So just to give you an example of their vision and forward thinking, they've actually already purchased 300 acres of adjacent land. So this land is not only adjacent to the Wolfe Springs cottages, but it's also adjacent to a small family-owned 9-hole golf course. And their thinking with this is that by having this land, they're essentially positioning themselves in a place where they could potentially in the future be ready to take over the small family-owned golf course and expand it to an 18-hole, more luxurious golf course, perhaps add a clubhouse as well. And basically the idea is that these two businesses, the Wolfe Springs and the golf course, would really complement each other well, and that business at one place could essentially drive business at the other. So, and finally, the friendliness and approachability of the Claremont management team has fostered a strong network of business relationships, which has benefited Wolfe Springs. So as an example, the Claremont team's been able to leverage their family ties with Canadian Tire, as well as some new business relationship they developed with a client with ties at Lazy Boy to furnish their villas at the utmost luxury but at reasonable cost through friendly discounts. And this is really a skill that has benefited them in this project, and that will continue to benefit them in any of their future endeavors. So now I'm going to pass it on to Mike, who's going to take you through some of the recommendation we've made for Wolfe Springs to benefit on their current success. Sorry, to build on their current success.
Thanks, Allison. So 2 buckets of things that I wanted to talk about today. First of all, I want to talk about 5 of the things that we think that Wolfe Springs has done exceptionally well over the past, and 3 things that we think that they can do into the future. So the first thing I want to talk about in terms of these recommendations and things that we think that they've done exceptionally well is the idea of the games rooms that they've actually put into their locations. And sorry, I'll try and speak up. I know you guys can't see the slides too well here. For the games rooms, one of the things that they've done exceptionally well is to try and build a sense of community within the people who are renting each of these different villas. By having kind of a common space, they're able to actually interact amongst each other. And Wolfe Springs has even put some great foresight into making sure that they've soundproofed the rooms, make sure we don't actually disturb the primary purpose of people staying there, which is to be in that living space. Second thing they've done really well is to build a sense of community even between those villas. So they've provided facilities such as boathouses and waterfront facilities in order for people from different villas to actually interact with each other and build that sense of community. So that's one of the things they've done exceptionally well. Another thing they've done exceptionally well is cleaning. So when we talk to the people at Wolfe Springs, excessive is the only word that we can possibly think of that would appropriately describe how clean these places are. The one story was that, in fact, they clean in between the tines of the forks in the drawers to make sure it's just that clean for you. The turnover cost is about $250 a week, and that's something that is exceptional, and people definitely value that's something that their villa is kept that clean. A fourth thing is their website, and this is something that's actually been launched fairly recently, just in November 2008.